Mic check. Trap Lord, what up? J Boulevard, we are indeed back, man. Kaiser, what's good? Tino, appreciate you, man. I've been kind of MIA with the music this year, but trust me, we're keeping that going. Always. How y'all doing, man? Woo! Crazy week, right? Mo, what up, bro? What up, bro? What up? Jalen, yeah, man. Yeah. It's weird for the music game right now, man. It's in a weird spot right now. So I'm trying to move accordingly. Serendipity. Yes, it has been a crazy couple days. Jazzy, what up? RIP came and went tweets for now. Yeah. The next one, I hope it go. When I come back, I think I'm gonna make a splash with the next came and went tweet. Ashes in the hourglass. We are here. We are back and in action. Paso, what's good? Hermit's Gambit, what's good? By the way, if you're on Twitch, I don't know if y'all see that right here. I added a little command, the donate command. If y'all want to support the stream, just do exclamation donate, and it'll show you how to do all that. Oh, Ashes, we already did Astrobot. The Astrobot came and went tweet came and went. Cell Device, what up? What up? Yes, sir. We're actually having a discussion about something, Cell Device. I saw a tweet today. I don't know where the conversation started, but Tino, honestly, let me say this. Whether y'all watch on YouTube or Twitch doesn't really matter to me. I know for YouTube, the actual video player is better because you can rewind and it's less. I intentionally don't turn on ads for the YouTube side of things. I intentionally don't turn on ads. What up, Eclipse? But for Twitch, you can interact more and you show up here if you're on Twitch. So it's like kind of pick how you want to do it type thing. Both have, depending on how you want to interact with the stream, both have different drawbacks and different advantages, you know. And also I kind of do the simul stream because YouTube kind of lets me keep the live stream VOD up forever. I think Twitch removes the VOD after a while. So YouTube is kind of easier for y'all to go back and look at stuff if you want to. So however y'all want to do it, man, it's cool with me. So yeah. Mr. SU, I dig it. I'm a YouTube guy myself. I'm a YouTube person. I got YouTube Premium and all that stuff. What was I saying before? Cell, yeah, what we're talking about is I saw a conversation going on online about whether you can judge a game without playing it. I don't know where the conversation started. I kind of caught it on the tail end of everything, but I kind of want to go in depth about looking at games without playing them and what that all means. Just Pads, what up, man? I'm getting old. I remember when we'd at least talk about games for half the month. These days it's a week. Yeah. Hermits Time flies. Times change. Jazzy, I think it started from a joke using a scene from Persona 5, and some people couldn't tell if it was from the main game or spinoff. Oh, are you saying that's where it started? The conversation about whether you can just watch a game? But yeah. First of all, before we get in, temperature check. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? Like, how we feeling this week? Like, what's the vibe? Like, what's the energy after what's gone down this week? How we feeling? I'm gonna make this brief because this is not a political channel. It's not a political channel. This is about gaming. Worst week for me in a while. I'm not gonna lie. Do you have any games you enjoy watching people play? I have a few games I enjoy from Osmosis that I wouldn't enjoy playing, but I like seeing people play. Oh, Mr. SU. I'm gonna get into that. Matter of fact, I'm gonna write that down because that's a good question. Eclipse, we gonna make it. Yes, we are. J Boulevard, but I'm glad to be here. Always puts me in a better mood. Yeah, man, I appreciate you for coming through, man. I appreciate you. Danny, what up, man? What up, Danny Hikari? Moscola, just trucking along, rolling with the punches. That's all you can do. Mr. SU, it's been a rough week, but I'll live. How are we doing this fine Feed Up Friday? DeFritos, what up, what up, what up? We here, we surviving. Tino TCG chilling, just straight chilling. I want to smoke, but I don't want to spend the money on it. Nish Quick. Bro. Hey, man. How you doing, bro? Nish Quick in the house. Jalen Devon doing good at the moment. My work picked up a lot this month since we entered peak season. What do you do, Jalen? Peak season? You do retail? Jazzy, good. My mom distraught, but she's good now. Cell device. So let me say this. I judged the hell out of Red Dead 2, and I've never played it. Something about all those extra animations looked huff to me. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's interesting. DeFritos, yes, sir. We are surviving. We live on, and we fight another day. Call that joint Oregon Trail 2K. I've never played Oregon Trail for as much as people talk about it. Never played that game. Oh, you work in insurance. Okay, I got you. Yeah, but y'all, I'm gonna say this and then we're gonna get to talking about some things. But for me this week, I don't know. I was kind of just like, okay. We keep it pushing. By the way, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna give some context too. I live in Georgia. I live in the middle of Georgia. And where I work, I'm not going to give away where I work because I know some of these people be watching me. But where I work is a very, it's a Trump city. And when I say it's a Trump city, I mean, when you think of a stereotypical Trump supporter, like an exaggerated Trump supporter, not talking about like the reasonable ones. I'm talking about like an exaggerated, cartoonish. That's the type of area I work in when I commute. So for me, I kind of had like I had a read on like the energy behind him, you know. So maybe that's part of why I wasn't like, I was like, oh, okay, you know. But yeah, it is what it is, man. You know, we keep it pushing. And like before I moved back to Georgia, I also was working this travel job. So I was working this travel job from 2022 to 2023. And I would be visiting like different cities in like the South and the Midwest. And y'all, when I say from 2022 to 2023, these people were still talking about Trump before election season started. They were like, it was like a religion. You know what I'm saying? Like nothing was going on, and you would see like Trump posters and Trump stores and all this kind of stuff. So it's different. It's a different thing going on with him. So we push on, y'all. We push on, but we're not going to spend too much time on that. We're not going to spend too much time on that. Tino, Georgia is fire. Georgia is, I like Georgia. It's quiet where I live, at least. The only thing I don't like is the winters, but I think even that's changing with the global warming. You know, it's still hot right now and it's autumn. So, Eclipse, Climax of the Night was very cool. I found out that I am very good at King of Fighters now. I'm very good at King of Fighters now. It was good. I met some of the homies. I don't know if some of them are in chat, but I met some people when I went to Climax of the Night. I met some people that watch the streams or follow me on Twitter. They came up to me like, yo, what's up? I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I didn't know you lived here, or I didn't know you were coming to this tournament. So it was cool to meet some people that I've only been cool with online for a while, or just I didn't even know that they follow me. I was like, oh, I don't even. But yeah, I'm always down to connect with people. So that was cool. And everyone that I met was chill. Nobody was annoying. Nobody was weird. Everybody was cool. You know, everybody was cool. There was one person that I was playing against in King of Fighters, though, I will say. Cell Device, for sure. I'll let you know. I like meeting up with the online. My experience with meeting people online has always been great. I have not had a horrible experience yet, except with dating when I was on the market. But that doesn't count. I'm talking about this type of online stuff. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh, there was one person that I was playing against in King of Fighters that they weren't bad, but I can tell they were just starting. But I had to do that thing where I had to be like, man, I hope you keep playing, because I was like, I don't want to beat this dude so bad that like they just are like, King of Fighters is too hard. I don't want to play this game anymore, you know? So I was like, yeah, man, this game's super hard, dude, you know? Like, it took me a while to get to this point, all that kind of stuff. So, also the tournament was just cool. Just a cool tournament. It was organized correctly, and they required masks at this tournament. So I didn't come back sick. Forget about COVID. Usually when you go to conventions or you go to tournaments, you get this thing called con crud, because people don't be closing their mouths, people don't be washing their hands. So a lot of times you'll hear after tournaments or conventions that people come back sick with something. But they required masks for this tournament, and I came back clean as hell. So fresh and so clean. So great tournament. Great tournament. I love it. One of the best tournaments I've ever been to. Organized, clean, everything. And they're coming back next year, so I'm gonna be visiting. I'm gonna be going to the tournament again next year. Tino, I've heard about them Midwest winters. Hell nah, man. Them Midwest winters are horrible. My goodness. I was in Michigan when I worked that travel job. Oof. Never again. Freezing my ass off. My commute to work on like the outskirts of Orlando when I used to live down there had so many murals and stuff. Yeah. Jalen, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Georgia music recommendations. What do you mean Georgia music recommendations? Oh, you mean artists from Georgia? JID. JID. Listen to JID. Dude is fire. Okay. So first I want to talk about um what do y'all think about looking at games and judging them? Like, how much can you judge? Or let me say this, let me ask this first. Can you be a fan of a game without playing it? Can you be a fan of a game without playing it? What do y'all think? Because there was a conversation that I was seeing online. Let me see if I can find the conversation that I was like lurking on. But there were people genuinely arguing that you can be a fan of a game without playing it, just from watching it. Let me see. I'm a semi-Splatoon fan and I don't play it. By the way, I have noticed that this idea or this concept is more common among like younger people. I'm noticing this is more of a trend among younger fans or younger gamers where they'll be like, yeah, I could be a fan without playing it. But let me see. Depends on the game. If a game's quality can be assessed without playing, maybe the game's just that shallow. Oh, interesting. That's interesting. Jazzy says, nah. Said, depends on the game. My girl watched me play Nier Automata, and that's one of her favorite games. Interesting. Interesting. Um, okay, let me show y'all this. Let me show y'all this. Yes, but the answer is nuanced. I think the streaming era made this an actual conversation. Yes, definitely J Boulevard. It definitely made it more of like, okay, let me show y'all this. All right, look at this. Look at what they're saying here. I was lurking this conversation. They don't know I was watching, but I was just lurking. Okay. So this guy says, how are there legit people who say you can be a fan of a game without playing it? And then the next person says, because not every game is accessible to everyone. My girlfriend is a fan of Bloodborne solely because I talk about it. She doesn't like Souls gameplay at all, nor does she want to buy a PS4. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm trying to take this seriously, but just the way they said it was so like just the most extreme case of the most extreme case of like, yeah, I don't like anything about this game. I don't like anything about this game, but I heard I heard about it, so I'm a fan. That I, I swear to God, I'm not trying to like uh be dismissive, completely dismissive of this, but that just sounded crazy. But then this guy says, okay, so she's not a fan of the game Bloodborne. She just likes watching it. Then she responds and says, no, a game is not just the gameplay. If anything, it's of the least. Oh, wait, hold on. If anything, is of the least importance. There are plenty of games with basic dog shit gameplay that get called one of the best in the medium. The lore, atmosphere, story, and gameplay. Those elements are what makes up a game. Okay, y'all, hold on. If this will load, okay. But it is the gameplay as well. Like, let's just say you call yourself a fan of a game. Everyone is going to assume you've played it. And then they kind of go on. They kind of go back and forth. This person also says if it means you played the... Yeah, they're just kind of going back and forth now. But I show that conversation to say there are people that genuinely... What up, Arthur? How you doing? There are people that genuinely think like this. That was kind of an extreme case because they were pretty much just like, yeah, I don't like the gameplay. I don't want to get a PS4. I don't want to play it. I don't even like watching it. I just like hearing you talk about it. So I'm a fan. I don't know. Wait, hold on. Did they say I don't like hearing you? Yeah, that's crazy. That's actually crazy. I'm trying to be generous, but that's fucking insane. Um, I've noticed people have a checklist or criteria of what they want in their games, and if one small thing doesn't tick a box, they don't try it. And this without even trying it or doing research. Yeah, it's very interesting. Can you be a fan of a book if someone else read it for you and you had no control over the pacing of the read? I agree, Ashes. You can't be a super fan or die hard, but you can have appreciation of certain amount of fondness for something you may not have personally experienced. Budget is a big thing too. I agree, Mr. SU. Heavy Wings, what up, man? Glad you could come through. Of its monolith. Not really at to me, because to me a fan requires you engage deeper than normal for something. Um yeah, I don't know. So Serendipity said this, but I don't know if the meaning of fan has changed. Because fan to me implies a certain level of enthusiasm about the thing, right? So, for example, I've watched what's the show I've watched? Like um I don't know, iCarly. Like I've watched iCarly, but I can't say if you ask me, am I a fan of iCarly? I feel like that means something different. Fan means to me like, oh, this is your thing. Y'all, you know what I mean? Least importance. It's like being a fan of a movie while only having read reviews. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely weird. I'm going through the chat right now. Oh, DeFritos. The question is, can you be a fan of a game without playing it? DeFritos. Sorry, I'm late through the chat. I was kind of reading. Tengu, what up, man? What up? I think people can become fans of a game because of the gameplay, but it feels kind of special when it includes either substance, style, and gameplay. For me, it was Normal Heroes due to the gameplay and characters. Ciela, what up? Ciela says, I feel like fan is just when you like something to the point of you're passionate about it. Yeah. Okay, so here's the other thing, because this is when we get into like, because this is just the first layer of the conversation about being a fan. We're not even talking. And what up, Apache? How you doing? This is just the first layer of like being a fan, right? And then there's the next layer of like judging a game, because I think those are two different things, of like claiming you're a fan of a game without playing it and judging a game without playing it, right? Now I heard that a lot of people who are fans of Persona 5 just watched it. A lot of people who are fans of Persona 5 just watched the game on YouTube. I didn't know that until a couple of days ago. I didn't know that was like I didn't know there was a not so small amount of people that did that. Now, for me, it's just interesting to me because then there's the other term, right? You have casual fans and then you have hardcore fans. So maybe you can make some kind of separation there of like people who just watch Persona 5 are just casual fans of Persona 5. But then there's another layer of this conversation too, where I'll say personally that I don't really care if someone calls themselves a fan of something or not, because I don't think it has any toxic outcomes, or it's not harmful to someone's engagement with the medium. Like if someone so let me say this, if someone just wants to watch Persona 5 and they say, hey, I enjoyed Persona 5 because I just watched it, that's not gonna hurt Persona 5. That's not gonna hurt anything. That's not gonna hurt me. That's not gonna hurt the game sale. Well, kind of might hurt the game sales a little bit. I don't know, but it's not causing any harm. You get what I'm saying? But, or let me ask y'all this: does it cause any harm? I see some of y'all's questions. I'm gonna go back and look at and answer some of these questions, but Ciela, but like you don't got to go that hard on someone because they're not as committed to a certain thing. Yes, I agree, Ciela. I agree. Fan comes from the word semantics, so there certainly is a level of enthusiasm for a piece of, but I don't think you have to fully engage with it to take away someone's enthusiasm. Even a game, they can't judge it the way someone who played it has, but they can judge it in their own. Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. I agree, Jalen. I agree. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think it's like when we're talking about this part of the conversation, this specific part of the conversation of calling yourself or labeling yourself a fan. I don't think it's causing any harm if someone who just watched Persona 5 wants to call themselves a fan. Now, we can move on to the next part of this conversation, though, which is how many people who do that, right? How many people who just watch Persona 5 or whatever game insert themselves into conversations about the game in a way that like can cause harm? Like, what percentage of people, let's say this, let me ask y'all this, because this is a second layer, because we've decided that like even if you don't think someone can call themselves a fan, them calling themselves a fan is harmless. But what percentage of those people will insert themselves into conversations about a game in ways that like aren't productive, or in ways that like they are misinformed because they may have missed, like, what percentage of people do y'all think when they say I'm a fan of Persona 5, they're also saying like, and I can talk about it the same way that like these people talk about it? Like, what's the percentage? Oh, I get you. When people are talking about things that should be changed in the game that they haven't played, I think it's like 30 to 50. 30 to 50%. 30 to 50%. I feel like is some hypocrisy when people 5%. Ashley says 5%. What up, Raven? 20 to 25%. Maybe it's different with turn-based RPGs. You can soak it in differently. There's a huge hold on. There's a huge online outrage culture of demanding changes in games when large percent of people in specific movements haven't bought the game for sure. Yes. Y'all know what game I think that happened with, by the way? Where like a bunch of people were like dogging on it and they didn't actually play it? I think that happened with Cyberpunk. Not saying that the outrage wasn't justified overall, but I think a lot of people were like, yeah, the game's trash, and they didn't really play it. It's just safe to say it's trash because so many people are already saying it's trash. So it kind of has like this snowball effect. I think that happened with Concord too. By the way, I'm gonna tell y'all now, as someone who's been online talking about games for a while, I've ran into many people who straight up told me, "Oh no, I haven't played the game, but that's what I heard." People have told me that directly when they're critiquing game. They're like, "No, I haven't played it though, but it looks trash." Another game that happened with that I personally played was Daemon X Machina. I saw a lot of people calling Daemon X Machina slow. They're like, it's a slow game. I'm like, oh, yeah, you haven't played it. You definitely, you're just giving away the fact that you just haven't played it. In fact, Daemon X Machina sometimes is too fast. It's like overly fast. They need to slow it down a little bit. You know? So it's just little things people will say, even if they don't directly say like, oh, I haven't played it. There's little things they'll say to where you'll be like, oh, yeah, you don't even have to tell me you haven't played it. I know you haven't played it. Yeah, Mr. SU, that's the second part of the conversation. That's the second. We're moving into the second part of the conversation, which is like some people just like step into the conversation about a game. CTD, what up? If we're talking about online discourse, it's probably way over 50% of people have actually played. Wait, you're saying 50% of people have actually played the game in question? So you're saying it's 50-50? Niche quick. One of my buddies was busy with med school, so he couldn't play Three Houses, but he's seen all the paths and supports. 3 years later, and he still has. It's cool. It's fine. It's fine. Moscola, I remember listening to a Game of the Year podcast where people were declaring games to be winners in categories when they hadn't played the games. Made no sense. Yo, by the way, we're headed towards the nominations pretty soon for the Game Awards. This is kind of an interesting thread to this part of the conversation. But let's be honest. How many times have we been like, man, this game deserved game of the year over that game, but like majority of us haven't played all of the nominees. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Sometimes we'll be like, oh, this game deserves this award. But you ain't even played all of them though. How you know? How you know? Yes, exactly, DeFritos. No one can, y'all can't play all of them. Y'all can't. So you can't. Gaming, by the way, the Game Awards as a concept is a very interesting, it's very unique compared to other award shows because you can't, with music, it is possible that someone can listen to every album. Matter of fact, you can take, even if you don't listen to them throughout the year, you can take a day before the the Grammy Awards and be like, oh, let me listen to all these albums right quick, because music is shorter, right? Same with movies to a lesser extent, but you can get through a bunch of movies. Same with the Emmys. Well, actually, no. The Emmys TV might be a little different too. But you can at least see a few episodes. You know what I'm saying? Games though? Ain't no way someone can just play all of those games. There's no way you can get through all those games. It's just not. It's just very different from other award shows to where you're going to be saying, yeah, this deserves an award over some shit that I haven't played. It's just a huge investment. True, I think declaring your favorites of the year is a better route since it limits you to what you've actually experienced, even if not fully. Agreed, Mo. Agreed. Fun fact, GK, the point you're making about games versus other mediums is why Game Pass was a terrible idea and just does not work. Heavy Wings, bro. Tell me why I said this shit when people were kind of hyping, when people were first hyping Game Pass as the best deal in gaming. I was like, bruh, you can't get through all those games. People be like, oh, Game Pass has hundreds of games. You're not going to get through all of them. So it's not a deal. It's only a deal for as many games as you end up playing. You know what I'm saying? It's like saying like an all-you-can-eat buffet is a deal because they have hundreds of pounds of food that you can eat. No human can eat hundreds of pounds of food. You can't, it's impossible. So it's not a deal. It's only a deal for as much as you're able to consume. You know? But it's a nice mental trick. Apache says, speak for yourself. All right, fatso. Oh man, that's funny. Also, people do genuinely play the game they want and then unsub. That is a good, nice little thing. That's a nice little trick. You're probably not gonna feel the same way in like a year. Gaming is such a large investment, 20 hours. Okay. Let's circle back to the conversation though. Um, People do kind of insert themselves into discussions when they haven't played games fully enough to do so. And the problem I think with that is sometimes it can cause a lot of tension or friction when it comes to discussion about games, because somebody who hasn't played a game can be talking about something totally different, like for example, I can say something about Shin Megami Tensei 5, like, oh, you know, The environmental storytelling isn't very strong. The world is too empty. There isn't enough like character to the world building and all this kind of stuff. But somebody who just watched it, they didn't have to go through the tedium of walking around Shin Megami Tensei 5's world. They didn't have to go through all that. So they may have a different perspective about the story or the world building and all that kind of stuff. So, hold on. What's going on with the chat? What's going on here? The fuck? Yeah. But I hope I'm still connected. Hold on. Am I still good? Oh, okay, cool. I thought the chat was it felt like the chat froze. Um, but yo, like yeah, some people no, we're good, we're good. No, my restream had like a it said some kind of error message. It said some kind of error message on my restream. Um, so I thought I had to log back in or something. My bad, y'all. But yo, that can cause a lot of friction when people are trying to talk about specific things about a game. Because you can be talking about the story in a way that you didn't have to go through a certain level of tedium or a certain level of pacing that somebody who actually played the game had to go through. So their perspective on the story might be different from yours. You get what I'm saying? Even stuff like side quests and stuff like that, or optional things that you can go through with the game can contribute to like, oh, I felt this way about the pacing because I did this side quest and that gave me a different context to the story versus somebody who just watched a walkthrough and they didn't get that. Because you control gaming, because with gaming you're in control of how you navigate the work, that affects how you're talking about it with people who maybe like we're just watching it. You get what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think that can cause a level of friction when it comes to like conversations about games when people haven't played it versus people who have played it, Now, Mr. SU asked me earlier, I think, what games it's too far back. But did you, Mr. SU, if you're still here, did you ask me what games I've played that like what games that I've judged that I've just watched? You gotta ask the question again. I wish I had like I should have screenshotted it. Um I should have screenshotted it. But I can circle that back to one point you made about Melee or about esports. I can just say it about esports in general. Um, I'm gonna be honest. I feel like with esports and like competitive games, I would still say, oh, it's about Melee. Okay. Yeah, so because more people have watched Melee than have played it. I'm gonna be real with you. I would not say they're fans of the game Super Smash Bros. Melee. I don't think they can. I still think it would be more, but again, that doesn't matter. If they want to call themselves fans, that's fine. But they can't. I don't think they can talk about Melee in a specific way just from watching it. There's certain things about Melee especially because Melee is a very like kinetic game. It's very much the appeal of Melee is very much about how it feels. Otherwise, people will be praising games like Nickelodeon All Star, or if it was just about visually what you're seeing on screen, there will be a bunch of other Smash-like games that look like Melee visually, but don't feel like Melee, that would be getting a bunch of praise. But there's definitely a difference there, because gameplay feel, honestly, not even just with Melee, but with competitive games in general, gameplay feel is a big thing. It's a major thing. You know, J-Rob, what up? Let me see. DeFrito says, how about this? I love Xenoblade Chronicles, but only because of Definitive Edition's casual. Okay, that's interesting. I love the story, but I didn't know Definitive Edition had a casual mode, by the way. But I love the story, but the combat felt tedious after a while, and casual mode improved the pacing considerably. Am I less of a fan? Ooh, that's a good question. So was casual mode just cutscenes? Because I didn't play Definitive Edition. I only played the original. That's a good question. Oh, so there's still combat. All right. So it just, okay. So it just reduces enemy health. It's an easy mode. Gotcha. Well, let me say this. Like I said, I wouldn't say you're less of a fan. But like I said before, I don't think the fan label is very important here. But what I will say is I don't think you can talk about the game. I don't think you can talk about certain aspects of the game. Like if I were to, I wouldn't want to ask you about the combat. What up, Ish? I think that's fair to say. Ace Thunder, what up? Any thoughts on the generational gap concerning this? Millennials like you and I are more than used to just playing the game. The younger you get, the more tied to social media hype. Yeah. The generational gap on things. I'll say this. My only comment on the generational gap with this is that I think it's a bit concerning and indicative of kind of a bigger problem with people just not wanting to engage with anything. You know, people are watching TV shows on 3 times speed. People are watching playthroughs of games and not wanting to play them. People are wanting to use AI to create art. It's just kind of in a vacuum. I don't think these things individually are a big deal. But when I look at it on kind of a macro scale, it's kind of like, damn, do y'all want to do anything? Like, do y'all just not want to do anything? And that's a slippery slope towards like just kind of this emptiness when it comes to art and how we view art as something just to get through and not to just enjoy for the sake of like enjoying it. You know, it's just like, oh, I gotta get to the next thing. I think that's a dangerous road to like go down generationally. If that trend continues from Gen Z and then to Gen Alpha and then to the whoever's next. You get what I'm saying? J Rob, I apologize. He said young idiot. Hey man. Ish also brings up a good point. The kid's quick to pull up the Steam charts. Even with multiplayer games, right? People who haven't played some of these games will be like, oh, this is a dead game. And they're just looking at Steam charts. They haven't gone online. They haven't played the game, barely. They haven't tried to enjoy it for what it is. They're just focused on, oh, I saw the Steam charts for this, so it's a dead game. People say KOF is a dead game. KOF is not dead. If you were to actually play KOF, you would realize that KOF is just so international, right? That you can't judge the life of KOF the same way you can judge it with other types of games. When I log on to KOF, at any time of the day, people from China are going to be on. Or people from Korea. Almost at every time of the day. Someone in China and Korea. KOF is more alive than like some games that people... KOF is more alive than some games that like are older. You get what I'm saying? Like for its age, KOF is very alive. But if you don't log on to the actual game and see the actual context behind those Steam chart numbers, then you'll think it's just like a dead game. You know? Hermit's Gambit. That's another question that comes to mind. Are those people who play on hard mode know more about the game than normal or below? Hermit, it depends on the hard mode, because some hard modes are just BS. Like some hard modes are just like more health and nothing else. Jalen Devon, it is for sure. Burnout and doing things out of spite can happen when folks do that. Arthur, I feel like that its engagement with the media is in danger to becoming more passive. Yes, Arthur, ACU. That is exactly what I'm saying. And when you get to that point, that's how you get these things like low media literacy and people not understanding what they're watching. Because the goal isn't to engage with what they're watching, or playing or whatever, or listening to. The goal is to say you watched it. The goal is to say you played it. People don't care about actually playing it. They want to be able to say, hey, I played this game. Tengu, yeah, the way they consume is more thoughtless and more on feel. Yeah, curiosity is gone. Wait, oh yeah, people are Steam chart watching for Sparking Zero Slayer? I just bought MK1 on Switch though. All the MK1s. Yeah, Melty Blood is still alive too. Like I said, like I was saying earlier before you came, Ish, like Climax of the Night, there was a bunch of Melty Blood Under Night players, but if you ask anybody online, they'll say the game's dead. But then the next part of this conversation we're gonna get into before we wrap this up and then get into the Switch 2 stuff. Besides the fan aspect, and besides the discussion aspect, and besides the passive engagement aspect, and then the esports spectator aspect, there's also, and this is where I'm gonna give a little wiggle room. You can't, what do y'all feel about judging a game as like trying to figure out if you should buy a game by just watching it, or figuring out if a game will be for you by just watching it? Because I think that is very different from saying I'm a fan of the game or I hate the game or like the game. Right? I think when it comes to just judging a game as like, I don't know if I would like that. That's fair. I think it is totally fair to do that. And obviously, that's the only way we judge games before buying them, right? Is watching them. It's not like, unless there's a demo, obviously, but DeFritos, it is tough. I have a lot of games I want to play through on my backlog, which can lead to a habit of turning games till credits roll. The trick is to slow down when the game I'm playing is particularly resonating. Yeah. I agree. My trick has just been to play fewer games. I just play fewer games. Cause that's the only way I can really for real, like get into stuff. And I like being able to, now I'm doing video essays and shit like that. Like, I feel like you don't really get that level of understanding with the game unless you lock in for real. You can't just be like, passively, like whatever, engaging with the game, Yeah. I also hate sometimes when people are like, when you're looking at a trailer for a game, right? And you say, you know what? I don't think that's for me. Or I'm not gonna buy that. It doesn't look good to me. They think you're saying the game sucks. When I say I'm not gonna buy a game, oh, peace out, J Boulevard. Peace out. Eclipse, you still here? Because I need at least one mod in here. But like, yeah, like I think that's different from saying, oh, the game sucks. What I like to say is, I'm not gonna take a chance on this. If I'm just watching it and saying like, oh, I'm not gonna buy this based on what I'm seeing, I like to say sometimes I'm not taking a chance. It could be good, it could not be good, but I have other things I want to take a chance on. I think looking at a game secondhand can give you an idea of what the games were trying, but you need firsthand experience to know how well it succeeded. Yeah, judging it relative to your personal taste is fair. Yep. And then obviously, by the way, y'all, we can judge things like graphics and like performance and all that stuff. But I'm talking about like the artistic aspect. I'm sorry, not the artistic aspect. The like interactive aspects. Some people, by the way, even say that they can tell how a game feels by watching it, which I think sometimes you can. You can kind of look at like multiverses, for example. I keep bringing this game up. But you can look at multiverses and tell that game just is slow as hell. I don't think you got to play multiverses to know like, oh, it is kind of like sluggish. Box art back then was a big deal. Yeah, Ish, I forgot about that. We used to judge off of box art too. Mr. SU, which game is worse, Journey or Multiverses? I gotta Multiverses. I'm not gonna do that to Journey. I don't like Journey, but I don't think y'all have y'all played Multiverses? But this is a quick tangent. Did y'all play Multiverses? That game, that's not a good game. That is like that game was really bad. Like when I'm not just like trying to be mean when I say that game was bad. I was like, whoa, how did they even let this? How did they even? Yeah, shout outs if you enjoy Multiverses, cool. Lucid said I opened Multiverses, so I needed to type in WB account and then closed it. I hate how that's just like a trend now of like, but yeah, Multiverses, goddamn. I was like, yo, how did they let this out the door? That is that. Like sometimes I think sometimes when people say a game is bad, because I'm not that type of person where like if a game isn't for me, then I'm gonna be like, oh, it sucks because it's not for me. I'm not one of those people. Like, I'm not one of those people where, like, so for example, if what's a game that was like that recently for me? Fucking it's not recent, but like Fallout 4, right? When I played that game, I was like, not for me. But I wouldn't say like, oh, this game sucks. Like, how did this get through the door? This sucks. Some people, when they say a game sucks, you have to you have to be like, oh, do you mean it sucks or do you mean it's not for you? With multiverses, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like, yo, this is bad. Like, what happened here? That's when I say the game sucks, I mean like something went wrong. Even as much as I talk about Persona 3, I'm even specific when I talk about Persona 3, right? Because I'm known for not liking that game. But I'm specific and I'm like, I don't like this game. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't say like, oh, this just is like they didn't know what they were doing. Like, what happened here? Yeah. Crazy that one fighting game of the year. Insane. I'll say this. Part of me is upset that Multiverses has such a cool roster. Marceline and Raven in a better game would go crazy. I love Adventure Time. I love Teen Titans. But y'all, so that's pretty much my thoughts on the whole judging a game without playing it thing. Do y'all have any other, before we move on to the next topic, do y'all have any other questions or things that like I may have forgot to bring up when it comes to this? Tengu, I'm not gonna call P3 trash, but I will not buy it. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. Okay, so now this is the next thing. Switch 2 backwards compatible. I wish I had a applause sound effect. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Switch 2 backwards compatible with the Switch, J Rob, with the Switch. Now the question is now, because some people think, yeah, that's what it, DeFritos, that's exactly what I was about to say. Do y'all think we're going to get performance upgrades with the backwards compatibility? Do y'all think, or do you think it's just going to run the same? I think we're getting performance upgrades. The only reason I think this too is because of two things. One, technically, when the Game Boy Color, y'all gonna say this is a reach, but when the Game Boy Color was backwards compatible with the Game Boy, it did give some games performance upgrades. Huh? Having color is a performance upgrade. Having color is a performance upgrade. And then, right? What was it called? The new 3DS? The new 3DS gave performance upgrades to every 3DS game, actually. Will we have to hold on. Yeah. So Nintendo's done it before already. In fact, Nintendo was the Nintendo was the first to do it. And if you want to get like really nerdy, y'all remember the 64 DD? The 64 double Ds? Do y'all know what I'm talking about? I hope y'all know what I'm talking about. But y'all remember the 64 DD? Let me show y'all the 64 DD. I feel like some of y'all don't know what I'm talking about. This was for the Nintendo 64. The 64DD is a floppy disk drive peripheral for the Nintendo 64. And the 64 storage capacity of basically, it was to give 64 games better performance. So I think Nintendo is going to do, I think they're going to have performance upgrades. I think author ACU, I think performance upgrades in the sense where there's no frame dips and shorter loading, but not like doubling the frame rate. You know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb. I think some games are gonna get the like double the frame rate. I think some of them are. I don't think it's gonna be like every game, but I think there will be specific games that get patched to like get higher performance. Just it's only because Nintendo, it's not like Nintendo hasn't done this before. But I think sometimes like we have this how do I describe it? Do y'all know I'm gonna use this word a lot more, and hopefully this becomes a part of y'all's vocabulary because it's a very useful word. But we have this presentism when it comes to like how we talk about gaming sometimes. Where we think certain ideas, we try to apply like how we view certain things now or certain things in the past in the context of how we talk about them now. So when we talk about performance upgrades, we only think about like doubling frame rate, higher resolution, etc. And then we say things like, or even how people were surprised about backwards compatibility. Some people, when I said like, yeah, the Wii had backwards compatibility, every handheld had backwards compatibility, Wii U had backwards compatibility, etc., etc. People were like, no, but the Switch is different because this is the first time they have an account. Bruh, they say the Switch is different. This is their first time because it's the first time they're doing it with an account system. Yes, because this is an era where you have to do that now. But in the context of back then, right? So let's say in the far future, say in 2035, for some reason, we don't have account systems anymore. And now there's some kind of different way to do backwards compatibility. Now that next generation is going to say, oh, this is the first time they're doing backwards compatibility in a without the account system era. or something. You can't keep moving the goalpost every time the era changes. So for that time period, for the 90s, Nintendo did backwards compatibility in the way that you do it in the 90s. For the 2000s, they did backwards compatibility in the way that you could do it for the 2000s, 2010, 2020, so on and so forth. Backwards compatibility exists and is done in the context of whatever the era is, you know? So I think sometimes people just keep on moving the goalposts and saying like they didn't do it because that didn't count. That didn't count because they did it back then. They didn't do it now. That doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not how that's yeah. Um so yeah, I think so basically what I'm saying, that's a long like philosophical semantical rant about the fact that like Nintendo has done a lot of these things before, but because the language was different back then, y'all aren't viewing it that way. So Game Boy Color was a performance upgrade, but we didn't have HD back then. So y'all aren't using the word performance upgrade. Y'all are just like, oh, it has color now. You get what I'm saying? Same with the 64DD and all that, you know, and all those other things they did. So they've done it before, but it just looked different back then. Let me read through the chat. Just Pass, we're in the digital era. Of course they're gonna use accounts. Yes. Duh. Like exactly. You have to look at it in the context of the era. You can't say they didn't do backwards compatibility because there weren't account systems back then. That's dumb. That's stupid. Yes, account systems didn't exist. That doesn't mean it wasn't called backwards compatibility. Like, I don't know, man. People are just like, they always find some way to argue. It's weird. Is the N64 RAM expansion not the same? CTD, thank you. It's the same thing. The N64 RAM expansion is the same concept. Just apply it to the 90s. So, but to answer the question though, I think we're gonna see some performance upgrades. The second question, though, and I think DeFritos, did you bring this up? DeFritos, I think because I saw it in the chat. Oh, okay, there we go. Do y'all think the cartridges are going to be compatible? Because that is kind of up in the air because, again, the eras have changed and the standards have changed. I think they're still going to allow the cartridges. They're going to allow the cartridges. Mainly because Nintendo's, like, business is still mostly physical. When you look at the NPD sales for Nintendo games, they don't include digital. So if you see Mario Kart or whatever, or Smash or whatever at the top of the NPD, they're not including digital. That's just physical. So Nintendo still sells a lot of physical games. So I think we're going to get the cartridge compatibility. Kaiser is going to be a 3DS situation where Switch 2 cartridges will only work on Switch 2, but Switch 1 will work on either. Yes, yeah, 1000%. I think that's what's going to happen too. Now, do y'all think, but that is another thing, do y'all think it's going to be like one cartridge for both? Or are they going to have two cartridge slots for a Switch 1? I don't think they're going to do the two cartridge slot thing like what they did with the 3DS. I think it's just going to be one cartridge slot like what they do with the GBA and Game Boy Color and Game Boy backwards compatibility. Yeah, one for both. I think that's what we're gonna get. I think that's what we're gonna get. Yeah, due to the form factor, for sure, Jalen. Agreed. Definitely, Jalen. Do y'all think Switch 2 games are gonna cost 70? Or are we still gonna be in the 60 range? I think they're gonna probably do it like they did for DS, 3DS, where you can still insert the cards from the previous system. Yeah, just pass. I agree. I still think it will be case by case. Yeah, I like what Nintendo's doing now. Like how Tears of the Kingdom was $70, but like then stuff like WarioWare was 40, and then Xenoblade X Definitive Edition is 60. I think Nintendo is probably going to be way more variable than everybody else is with it. I also have a feeling it's possible that development of Switch games will still be based themselves off the Switch one, meaning all Switch games can run on either console. Oh, so you think it's gonna be like forward and backwards compatible? Because if I remember correctly, even though again this is kind of a stretch, but some Game Boy Color games could be played on Game Boy. Like you could play Pokemon Crystal on a regular Game Boy, even though it had the Game Boy Color branding. $70 games have actually changed the way gamers spend money. Only the real dedicated will play. They're definitely doing forward compatibility. Yeah, that would be interesting. That would be interesting, Lucid. Ashes to Hourglass, especially after TOTK. Um, yeah. I agree. Oh, not crystal, but silver and gold. Okay. I knew it was one of those. I knew it was one of those. By the way, Nintendo has been making like some really great comments in that recent meeting that they did. I wonder if I can find. Can I find the meeting? Can somebody link me to like? Because I don't know if I can find it. But I was reading Nintendo investor meeting. This is the next question. Yes, the next DeFritos, I agree. The next Pokemon game will be cross-platform for sure. I think they'll want to maintain sales to people who are hesitant to upgrade to Switch 2. Yeah, because I think the Switch 2 is going to cost a lot too. I think it's going to be 400. The NSO online thing. Or do you mean how they're going to Oh, you're talking about the beta. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it. But what all I'll say about that playtest thing, because somebody's asking, Ashes is asking about the beta test that they did for the Nintendo game. All I'm gonna say is I'm not even sure if that's gonna be an actual game. I'm not sure if they were testing an actual game. And I did find the game very interesting. It gave me Dreamcast vibes. It gave me Dreamcast vibes from the music to the aesthetic. It was very interesting. A little hard to control, but I'm not gonna give details on the game. But the game was a little confusing and a little awkward to control. Gave me Dreamcast vibes in terms of like the aesthetic and the music, and I'm not sure if it's gonna be a full game. I think they were using that game to test something else. I don't know what they're trying to test, but can we be fans of the NSO playtest even if we haven't played it? Hey, maybe. There's footage out there, so y'all can you can kind of find other people talking about it in more detail. Um, is this it? Oh, this is just sales of the Nintendo games. I don't want to talk about sales. Current state of Nintendo Switch. Oh, we can breeze through this real quick. Hold on. Blah blah blah. Blah. Okay, this was interesting. Merging two platforms that were previously separated into home consoles and handheld systems. Thank God. This also shows you that they view the Switch as a handheld system. The concept of a home console that can be taken on blah 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 blah. From one per family to one per person. Yeah. I thought about getting a second Nintendo Switch. Yeah, Pokemon is always slow to make the jump to the next console. Zimron, what up? It's almost like it was a feature for a Xeno X sequel. That would be interesting if the playtest was for something Xenoblade X related. Just hopped on. What's y'all conclusion on the topic question? Zia, what up? And our conclusion was that it doesn't matter if people want to call themselves a fan of games they haven't played, as long as they don't insert themselves into discussions about the game. And you can kind of judge a game by looking at it, but it's only in terms of like how that relates to like your purchase of the game or whether you want to play it, but not whether you actually know the quality of the game. That's the short way of putting it, even though I was kind of like confusing with my wording a little bit. Eclipse, I mean, Zimron, I was responding to the title. Yeah, now we're talking about the Switch 2 backwards compatibility. Notably, the Switch era never got a Pokemon Stadium equivalent. Yeah, that kind of sucks. I wish we did. But I think that era is over because, you know, they just put it all in one game. There was one additional gameplay through free updates. The increase in players connecting Nintendo Switch to the internet has helped us maintain. I'm glad they're emphasizing the free updates, and then now they're talking about the paid ones. By the way, that's Fighters Pass, expensive as hell. Jesus, I didn't even get all of them. Whoa, cousin Catnip. Thank you for the raid, bro. I appreciate you, man. I've been seeing you streaming Sonic and Shadow. What up, y'all? Welcome. We're talking about Switch 2 backwards compatibility. Let me see. But anyway, I saw Nintendo say something recently about Pizza Tower. They came out with the noise update. Yo, Pizza Tower, I just finished that game this year. Man, one of the greatest 2D platformers ever. Insane game. Lovely game. This is a long... Oh, by the way, look, hold on. Xenoblade, baby. And Pikmin 2 or whatever. But Coin Pusher. Oh man, hold on. You about to send me on a tangent. Coin. The music in Pizza Tower. We were talking earlier about whether you can be a fan of a game without playing it. Forget about that. Even if you don't play Pizza Tower, listen to that music. Listen to that soundtrack. You can be a fan of the soundtrack, even if you don't play it. My goodness. I love that soundtrack so much. So much. Oh, I remember what Nintendo said, even though I can't find the exact quote. But Nintendo said that rising development costs means that they can't make every game that they create big budget. And I think I can find a quote. Yeah, I found it. Look at this. And this is what sets Nintendo apart from everybody. This is what sets Nintendo apart. Y'all gonna say I'm glazing, but they deserve it. Now, our research and development expenses have been increasing each year. Since our scale of development has grown, a corresponding increase in cost in some respects is inevitable. However, let me highlight this for y'all. Let me zoom in on this for y'all. However, our belief is that what we create is more important than the amount spent on development. However, our belief is that what we create is more important than the amount spent on development. We continue refining our products until we are confident that we have created something that our consumers will be satisfied with. With that in mind, what is important is to find ideas that are worth honing. And this has not changed since the era of Nintendo Entertainment System. We believe that it is important to nurture developers who take this unique concept to heart, allocate funds to development if necessary, and release games only after we are confident in the product, and repeat this process over and over again. Y'all, you guys, y'all. I want to. I don't care if I sound like a fanboy with this, but I know all corporations are corporationing, but can we just not act? Can we not act like Nintendo isn't like just a separate thing? Like they're still a separate thing. Who else is saying that? Who else is saying that? Hey, we shouldn't spend a bunch of money on every game. Yes, they do some dumb shit, but come on, man. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll say this, man. Lucid said Concord did nothing wrong. I'll say this, Coin Pusher. It's like the old Miyamoto quote that still remains a vote. I forgot how it went exactly, but it was like a bad game is bad forever, but a late game being good. Something to do with that. Yes, the classic. Cousin Catnip. People give them shit, but they still understand the art of gaming at least. Yes. And I'm not saying they don't. Look, they deserve the shit that they get. They deserve it. But I just don't. Let's not act like anyone else is saying shit like that quote. Let's just be honest. Let's be serious. By the way, y'all subscribe to Cousin Catnip. He be streaming more than me. Subscribe, follow, whatever. He be streaming and playing games more than me. I just be yapping. I looked for the quote. It was Coin Pusher. We're nerds over here. We know the quote. We know the quote. But yes, Coin Pusher, exactly. They understand development. I agree, Coin Pusher. They understand game development to a different degree. You know what I'm saying? And we just got to be honest about it. I just don't like the whole "but both sides" thing. Like, here's the thing: I can always count on Nintendo making banger after banger, but I know that I'm not attached that hyper of what would they do, which is why. Yes, agreed. Just Pass, agreed. But yeah, so we're gonna get cartridges and we're gonna get performance upgrades. I think that's for sure gonna happen with the backwards compatibility. The last thing I want to say on the backwards compatibility thing too, I'm very glad that, yes, Gemini, we're talking Switch 2. We're talking Switch 2. I'm very glad that the Nintendo Switch Online stuff is like that is just a forever thing now. We're forever going to have the N64 games. We're forever going to have, even though we can't buy them, we're going to have the Game Boy Advance, Game Boy, all of that shit is going to carry over. Very cool. And that is a first. That is the part that I'm a little more excited for that than even the Switch backwards compatibility, because having all that N64 by the way, let me say this about the NSO, Nintendo Switch Online stuff. With like the old games. This also means that like real OGs remember how long it took for the Wii U to get the same Wii VZ stuff. Banjo-Tooie runs with no lag. Really? Because, okay, let me say this. Okay, this is what before I got sidetracked. Is there any other console right now that has that many legacy games, like going back to NES, SNES, N64, that you can carry over to the next system? Like, if you beat, for example, if I beat Sin and Punishment on my Switch right now, that's carrying over to the Switch too. My fear with it are things being delisted after a certain point. Jalen, that's what I'm getting at. I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think they're going to delist. I don't think they're going to delist. I don't think they're going to do that. Just because of the nature of what NSO is, I just don't think they're gonna delist, because that's a part of the thing. Like, so let's put it this way. NSO has a separate program for N64 games. and 4 SNES games, 4 GBA games, for Game Boy Color games. Why would they delist the whole thing? They would have to delist the whole thing. Like, for it to be like that, for that to be valid. Oh, the third party stuff. They might delist the third party stuff. Okay. That's true. They could do that. But I don't see it, man. I just don't. Because here's the thing. They would have done that by now. Yes, Heavy Wings. That's what I'm saying. Heavy Wings said, I feel like Nintendo. Oh, let me scroll. I agree with that. I agree with that. Wait, Gemini Knights, what up? Sega are delisting some games from Nintendo and everywhere else soon? From the eShop, but not from NSO, Gemini. From the eShop. Heavy Wings. I feel like Nintendo wouldn't bother with third-party games if they would be delisted. There's a reason we have some and not others. Yes, exactly. So, for example, let me give y'all an example. So, GBA, and this is why I don't think they're gonna delist. Game Boy Advance on the Wii U had not all, but most of the Mega Man Battle Network games on the Wii U version of the eShop for GBA. But then when for the Nintendo Switch, right? The GBA NSO doesn't have any of the Mega Man Battle Network games because we have Mega Man Battle Network Collection on Switch. So I think what I'm saying is, like, I think even for the third party stuff, the stuff that we got on NSO is stuff that the third parties don't plan on doing anything with. Because they're making collections for it or something like that. I feel like the third parties dump the NSO stuff that they know they're not going to do anything with. So they're not going to delist. That's what I think. So I think even for the third party stuff, it was already strategically planned on like what they will and won't put on there. Yes, Cousin Catnip. Exactly. I think they were careful about the NSO stuff. But yeah, I don't think that's why I'm very excited about the NSO stuff though, by the way, because when you look at even how Xbox does backwards compatibility, even Xbox, like, because of the way it works, they're delisting stuff. But like I said, for NSO, it's a whole separate program. Like, it's a whole separate, like, section. So they would either have to be like, we're just not letting you download N64 games anymore at all, or delisting some of them, which would be weird. I just can't see it. I can't see it. I think we're just gonna have those games as long as you're subscribed forever. It's an interesting conversation though. Um yeah, that's interesting. But I'm very excited about that. To just have like games, old as hell games, carrying over to future Switch consoles or future Nintendo consoles. I need to use NSO more, by the way. Do y'all play NSO? How often do y'all play NSO? Cousin Catnip, I do use it mostly with online friends. Eclipse, yeah, sometimes. Gemini Knights, I very much hate the way they dealt with Xbox by just saying bye to so many games you couldn't get physically. Like, please, let's preserve this history. Yeah, I didn't think Xbox was gonna do that, Gemini. I thought Xbox was just gonna like. I thought they were just gonna keep them up forever the way they were talking. Keta, I just wish you could disable the ugly border on NSO. Keta, yes, bruh. Oh my goodness. Why don't they let you remove that? It's so annoying. Ah. And you see the little user that's always gonna be there. Whatever, man. Whatever. I don't, but my younger cousin on the family plan and is super into it. Yeah, Lucid, the emulated games. Yeah. I barely play on Switch these days. I did use it a lot for the SNES and Game Boy. I also used it more with Splatoon 2 and 3. Mr. SU, I played Super Metroid on NSO because it was better than doing it for my Wii since I don't have a good controller for it. Yeah, whenever they add a new game, I haven't played. Okay. Fun fact, every Transformers game gets delisted after some time. It's so stupid. Ace Thunder, so the soonest Switch 2 releasing has to be holiday 2025, right? Can't see it happening any sooner. When does Xenoblade X come out? March. They're gonna put it out. We always do this every stream. we do this every stream. It's coming out in the fall. It's coming out in the fall. I'm gonna say the fall. Gemini Knight, thanks for the follow. Welcome. Lady Marigold, what is this? The border. I look at the Netflix model with tons of skepticism. Kiruse. Okay, low key, I saw somebody on Blue Sky. By the way, y'all need to get on Blue Sky. We need to get off Twitter. Blue Sky is the future. I saw one of my homies on Blue Sky. They had a 3-monitor setup. One monitor was like a regular computer monitor. One was like the big boy monitor. And then they had a CRT on the side. And I was like, oh, hold on. You on to something. I didn't think about a 3-monitor setup with a CRT. So that might be something for me to consider. I do need to get a CRT. Yeah, y'all, like, I lugged one of my CRTs over from my friend's place to play Rivals on it. Ziad, that is the nerdiest thing I've heard in a while. But you're channeling the spirit of Melee with that. Man, once I beat Metaphor, I'm going to start labbing Rivals for real. I'm gonna beat Metaphor this weekend though, for sure. Rivals of Ether 2 is so good though. That's a good game. Ace Thunder, I'm not even gonna read that. Do we foresee an NSO price increase, a phasing out of the base version, or are they keeping things the same? Oh no, NSO is gonna get a price increase for sure. Oh wait, hold on. No, this is what they're gonna do. They're just gonna phase out the old version. That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna phase out the expansion pass or the expansion pack. But in one way or another, they're not going to keep things the same. The price is going to go up. They're going to increase that price. And I think they're going to align it with the new, whenever the Switch 2 comes out. They're going to jack that price up for Nintendo Switch Online. Honestly, y'all, I'm going to be real with y'all though. I think the expansion pack is worth it. I'm surprised more people aren't on it. Like the N60, I think N64 is expansion pack exclusive. And yo, when they start adding Dreamcast games, that's when for sure y'all gonna be like, oh no, Saturn. If they add Saturn to expansion pack, but honestly, Saturn emulation is kind of weird. I'd be surprised if they got that working. Saturn emulation is kind of like, I have a powerful PC and I still have issues emulating Saturn. Yeah, Saturn emulation is kind of tricky for some reason. I don't know why. Yeah. Let me go down. Geronimo, what up? You're fashionably late, man. It's cool though. Lady Marigold, the expansion pack is honestly worth it now because they're blocking everything on it. Kata GCN, Dreamcast will be sick. Yes. Saturn is mad hard to emulate. I don't see it happening. Yeah. Saturn is, I don't know, man. Saturn is one of those consoles where I might end up buying that shit physically one day. Like just buying a Saturn. Or buying whatever, like, is there like a, what do they call them things? An analog equivalent, you know, like, yeah, like Mr. FPGA. The Mr. Emulate Saturn. Saturn NT. Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of, Cousin Catnip, like an analog type thing. Are we getting Wii NSO? For sure. The real question is, are we getting DS? When are we getting the 3DS DS era of like ports? We got to start getting them 3DS ports. Sega's more likely to remake the Saturn games. No, Zimron, they're not adding Dreamcast and Genesis. We already got Genesis on NSO. Zimron, you late. That's what I'm saying. Y'all gotta get on. NSO is worth it, man. It's good. Genesis is already on NSO, but we don't got Dreamcast yet. The issue is Saturn has mad chips on them and none of them were tied to a specific purpose. So one game might use a chip for audio where another might use it for physics. Yeah, Mr. can do Saturn really well now. Not 100% perfect, but close. Okay, Gemini. I might look into the Mr. FPGA then. I might look into that. Okay. What's this? Ziot sending me.
running on real Sega Saturn hardware. The speed, the clarity, all of the graphics, all of the layering priorities, everything here just looks like you put the disc in a real console and capture it with RGB out. And that's exactly what we want to see from cores like this, an indistinguishable gameplay experience from the real hardware to the FPGA code, because at the core of the MiSTer project, it really is just recreating that silicon in code, and you wanted to do the exact
same. Let me pause this. My mouse is kind of lagging a little bit too, y'all. Forgive me. They could do the touchscreen controls with gyro. It could work. Ziad, I feel like they're going to save all the CD, DVD based consoles for individual releases. Yeah, I need to yeah. Honestly, by the way, the issue with me getting more hardware for like CRTs and extra consoles and shit, it's like I'm running out of space. I'm kind of running out of space in my apartment. I got I got one room, a living room, a kitchen, and then I got like a kind of office space out there. And in the bathroom, obviously. I live alone. But yeah, I got a lot of stuff here. Wolf, what up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? We're gonna go a little longer. But yeah, we're still kind of talking about Switch and the backwards compatibility and what we're gonna get in terms of like legacy games. The Switch 2 leaked shipping manifest said it had a microphone built in. Yeah, I think as far as NSO, I think we're gonna go up to the DS. We're gonna go up to the DS and the Wii U. I'm sorry, the DS and the Wii, and then no. Let me go back. I'm sorry. We're gonna go up to GameCube and DS. I'm not sure if they're gonna go to the Wii yet. We're gonna go up to DS. Virtual Console is on the Wii. I'm sorry, the Wii U. By the way, the Wii U got DS Virtual Console. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know Wii U. What games did Wii U get? DS. What DS games did Wii U get? I think they got Brain Age, Wii U DS games, VC. So we're gonna get DS and GameCube. I don't think we're gonna get Wii. I don't think we're gonna get 3DS. But they're gonna start doing DS stuff. Honestly, I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna go crazy with it. I think we're gonna get DS Virtual Console on Switch. Well, yeah, we're gonna get like a DS NSO on Switch. Yeah, I think that's happening. I think that's gonna happen next year before the Switch 2 comes out. And then the selling point is gonna be like you can use you can do it vertically. This is a crazy prediction. But I think you're gonna be able to flip it vertically and do 2 screens for the Switch. And then that's how they'll do the dual screen setup. That's what I think is gonna happen. Yeah, Gemini, or Cousin. Yes, I have the thing. Hold on, let me show y'all. Hold on, I'm gonna do this real fast. See if I can do this fast. Hold on, real quick. Okay, watch this. Watch this. This I'm gonna show y'all real gaming. I'm gonna show y'all real gaming. Y'all got that? Y'all. Hey, real gaming. Whenever I want to play shmups portably. Yeah, that's the flip. Yeah, that's the flip grip, Wolf. Yes. Exactly. So whenever I want to do like play shmups vertically in vertical mode, I just use that. If I can pull this off. But yeah. Exactly, y'all. Real gaming. You said that right side of the screen about to be filthy. Ziad said I flipped my CRT on its side like a real man. Hey, you know when I still had my let me show y'all this one more time. But yeah, when I still had my TV sitting on a table, I would flip my TV like on its side, and it was like I want to say a 32-inch TV. I'll flip it and lean it on the wall. When I wanted to play shmups in vertical mode. It was interesting. It was very cool. Very, very gamer. No, serendipity. This is like a peripheral. It's called the flip grip. It's called the flip grip. I don't know if they still sell it. I'm not sure if they still sell it. It was they usually have like a limited run and then they keep making new ones. But yeah. The Ikaruga controller, yeah. Put that Lucid said put that thing down, flip it and reverse it. Oh my god. That's funny. That's funny. Put that thing down, flip it and reverse it. It's young for the yeah. Nah, but y'all, that's exactly. Yeah, we're back. I got it off. Thought it was stuck for a second. Coin Pusher, thanks for the follow. Yes. So a lot of options for what they can do. Nah, you're good, Coin. You're good, Coin. I'm glad you could come through. I'm glad you followed. I appreciate any kind of support, y'all. I'm just here to yap. Zimron, I've never played the Starfy games. Are they good? Problem with DS games coming back emulated is that they use the touchscreen to ridiculous degrees, like Phantom Hourglass needing it to move Link around. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. Cell, peace out, man. Matter of fact, that's a perfect time because I'm about to eat. And we've been at it for 2 hours. So y'all, put your slash Cayman Wentz in the chat, because that's where I'm about to be. I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate y'all for coming through. This was a good stream. My voice kind of getting a little hoarse, so I'm about to eat this fried rice. Ooh, Ziad said he's loving Metaphor. He likes JRPGs, don't you? You like JRPGs, don't you? Hey, but y'all, peace out, man. I'll see y'all next week. And yeah. This stream came and went. Peace out, y'all.